Hello and welcome to day 9 of the 30-day Bible study challenge. We will be reading 1 Timothy 2, 8, 9, and 10. So if you haven't read that yet, go ahead and do that. So starting in verse 8, therefore I want the men everywhere to pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or disputing. I also want the women to dress modestly with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. All right, so this section, I said we'd have a special guest, so I'm going to introduce you to Miss Susan Barrett. If you don't know Miss Susan Barrett, this is her. Her daughters go to my youth group, and she is someone who is a big proponent of modesty for women, not just saying, and modesty for men too, that's not just for women. But today, I thought I'd have someone who has raised daughters in this help discuss this. So we're going to look at the first part of this verse first, which Miss Susan Barrett is going to read the message part of this, which I think is very applicable to this. It puts it in modern day terms. So if you would read verse 8 with that, Miss Susan.
Okay, I kind of group it 8.
Okay.
Since prayer is at the bottom of all of this, what I want mostly is for men to pray, not shaking angry fists at enemies, but raising holy hands to God. You want me to keep on?
We'll continue on in a second. So if you have been following along with us, at the beginning of this chapter, it talks about we were to pray for everyone that they would come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ, and pray for those in authority. And so, like I said earlier, oftentimes it's very hard for us to pray for our enemies. In this, we are to pray not for bad things to happen to people, like I don't like this person, so I'm going to pray for them to get in a car wreck, or for their girlfriend to dump them or something, or boyfriend. There's a country song that actually says, I pray for you, but it says I'm praying bad things, and that's not good. So this is holy hands. What are holy hands? They are, holiness is set apartness, it's differentness, it's God is holy, he is other than us. And so we are to lift up holy hands to him. Only way we get holy is through his sanctifying blood. Mm-hmm. And so in the midst of that, in the midst of our prayers, our set apartness, we are lifting others up with those hands. We not getting angry at them. We are not praying, as I said, negative things for them, but we are beseeching God on behalf of those around us that they would come to the knowledge of him. Oftentimes you think about open hands as being a gesture of receiving, and not having, as the message says, closed fist, that anger kind of, God, do this. So we are to beseech God on others that we would be able to receive, one, the wisdom to be able to talk to these people, the wisdom to interact with them, and just and to love them like he does. So that's the beginning of this, and that is not just for men, that is for women, even though sometimes they don't get as angry, but when they do get as angry, sometimes it's longer than the guys. So they need to open up those hands that might have been closed for a long time. All right, so going down into verse 9 and 10, can you read that in the message for us?
And I want women to get in there with the men in humility before God, not primping before a mirror or chasing the latest fashions, but doing something beautiful for God and becoming beautiful doing it.
Okay, Miss Susan, what does modesty mean? What does that mean?
What does modesty mean? Goodness. Just, I don't think of showing lots of skin when I think of modesty. I think of just decorating myself in a way that doesn't cause others to sin.
I think of modesty. Modesty isn't just for girls, by the way. Modesty can be for guys. Modesty is seeing others in a way that it's not about myself and how I look. I want to attract people. It's seeing God as the most important thing. And so I want to honor my brothers and sisters, and so that they won't fall into sin because of me. As Paul says, I don't want to be a stumbling block to anyone. And part of that could be that the way you dress and the way you act, if you're really flirty and stuff like that, can be a stumbling block to others, because they're more interested in you than they are to God. And so not saying that, oh, women, you can't be beautiful, guys, you can't be handsome. It's just that your first priority in life should not be your appearance and attracting your others to yourself. That's what this is talking about. Not that you can't wear nice clothes and stuff like that. It should be that your heart is pursuing God. So, Ms. Susan, what does this mean from a woman's perspective?
Well, when you're pursuing God, like you said, you're not thinking first on, oh my gosh, what outfit am I going to wear? Or, how much time am I going to have putting on my makeup for the day and such.
I know, it's so hard for me to think about
that. Yeah, you're thinking on other thoughts as your priority, and then spending that time with the Lord, it's hard to really understand until you do it. But then that inner beauty comes out, and God still wants us to enjoy getting dressed and all that stuff, but that shouldn't be our first foremost thought in the front of our minds. So yeah,
I think this ties in so well with many things that we've been talking about. But if we love others, if you're pursuing God first, then your first desire is that they come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And the second commandment is love your neighbor as yourself. So your heart should be that everyone around you it's not all about you and how you appear. Your heart should be that they come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ. And so oftentimes, I know from a guy's perspective that if there's a girl that's dressed very provocatively, very skimpy clothing, it's very distracting, especially if she's trying to talk to me about something. If a girl was to come up to me and say, I want to talk to you all about God and stuff like that, but she's dressed, as I said, very provocatively, it'd be hard for me to listen to her. I wouldn't be thinking about what she was saying. I'd be thinking how she was appearing. And I know from a single guy, when I'm looking for a wife, that the woman I'm looking to marry, I want her first passion to be Jesus Christ, not how she appears. There's been times in the past where a girl, she has a lot of clothes. And she puts a lot of thought into the clothes that she wears. Not saying that women shouldn't, you want to appear nice in different events and stuff like that. But if a majority of your time and thought is going into shopping, into buying makeup, putting on makeup, clothing and stuff like that, it definitely doesn't show to me that your first priority is God. Right. And that's just what we're trying to say here. And for guys, I know some guys out there styling their hair all day long, and putting on all those nice clothes, and picking out sneakers. You got 40 pairs of sneakers. That's not saying girls are attracted to guys too. They think about that not as visual as guys, but if your sneaker game is so good that it's your first priority is how good your shoes look, then it's going to be hard for a woman of God to take you seriously. That your first passion is people. Not saying that you should go around dressed like a slob, but I'm saying you're just like anything in life. Our first priority is that we honor God, and part of that is honoring those around us with how we appear. All right, thank you, Miss Susan, for your help today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.